What's going on, YouTube? It's Jeff Toffin here on the Glorious Podcast with my Monday Night Raw review, the go-home show for Survivor Series. Let me start out and say, I didn't catch the whole lot of Raw tonight. I was watching a bit of the Dolphins and the Panthers game. Thank God I didn't watch the full game because it wasn't worth it. Let me just tell you that being a Dolphins fan sucks. So and I'll just say it now, if I'm in a bit of a shitty mood tonight and I kind of go a little hard on the show tonight, that's why. But I was able to catch most, the tail end of Raw at least. The last hour, I caught almost the entire, from 9:45, I think. But I was going back and forth though between that and between the game and the Raw in the beginning for like the first hour and a half. But I think I don't think I missed anything significant. As for the episode of Raw itself, I thought it was okay. It wasn't bad, but for a go home show for a Big Four pay-per-view, I think it was bad. I mean, just like if this was just in general an episode of Raw that had there wasn't a big pay-per-view Sunday, Survivor Series, whatever, or just a single branded pay-per-view. For that being said, I mean, I thought this could have been, all right, whatever episode of Raw, but I mean, we got Survivor Series Sunday. I mean, I felt like this was kind of a letdown in a way because of there being the big pay-per-view. I felt like they didn't hype it up enough. I felt like, there were a few things that were good. But like the ending was so impromptu tonight too. Like why it just ended out of nowhere. Like a lot of people were like confused, thought it was going to commercial break or something. But they like just ended the show, and I was like, wait, what? You know what I mean? They've done that before. I remember earlier in the year, back in the summer, they did that too with an episode of Raw or somewhere. It just like ended, and it didn't feel like it was over. And then you just looked at the time. It's like, oh, Raw's over. You thought it was just going on commercial again. So that's what it felt like tonight. The main event was so pointless too. Like why? Like Braun Strowman and Kane, they had like a 2-minute match. And then they went through the ring. So I mean, it wasn't the most exciting thing. I mean, yeah, the ring didn't collapse as a whole like we've seen before in past matches with Strowman and stuff, but they went through the ring. I mean, it wasn't really that exciting. I thought the ending was, it wasn't really anything, exciting. I mean, both guys, I don't even think Strowman's on Team Raw, so Strowman's on Team Raw. Kane is not. I could see Kane like getting Strowman eliminated though Sunday at the pay-per-view in the match. There's gonna be a bunch of guys like coming out and stuff, getting others eliminated in the tag matches and stuff, costing each other matches and stuff. Kind of like what they did last year. You saw a bunch of that stuff happen. So yeah, I expect Kane to like interfere in that match. Jason Jordan too. That was, oh my god, that segment. I caught that segment. That was awful. That was awful. I mean, it was good until Triple H showed up. That was pretty cool. Triple H returning. I didn't see that coming at all. And now he's in the match too. Bring that up. I mean, we'll talk about that in just a second, but let me talk about Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle segment. That was so bad. The crowd finally has turned their back on Jason Jordan. I've been saying for weeks that he was kind of getting like no reaction. The crowd wasn't paying no mind to him. But this week, like the crowd, Atlanta just was like, no, they weren't having it with Jason Jordan. He had the match with Bray Wyatt, who happens to be back, so it's good to see Bray Wyatt back after being out about a month. But he has a match with Bray Wyatt. He wins the match with Bray Wyatt, and then Bray Wyatt attacks him after the match. But then after the match, as he's walking out, Jason Jordan, that is, the crowd's just booing him out of there, man. They wanted him out of there. They're chanting "Thank you, Bray" and stuff. People were tired of Jason Jordan. I mean, it was only gonna boil over eventually with him because it just wasn't working. It wasn't working. You can't get this guy over with just he's Kurt Angle's son. It's not gonna work. I don't know who on the creative team thought that would be the idea that it would work, but it hasn't. So I mean, maybe I don't know, because now he's not in the match anymore. Triple H is replacing him. So I was thinking maybe what would happen, and the rumor going around was that he'd be in the match. He would turn on Team Raw, turn heel, pretty much cost Team Raw the entire match, and SmackDown would win. But now he's not even in the match. But he still could get involved in the match. Like I said, I already could see Kane getting involved, costing Strowman something, getting him eliminated. But I could see Jason Jordan coming out like toward the end or something, maybe getting Kurt Angle eliminated, turning heel on Kurt Angle to maybe set up a match with Kurt Angle in the near future. Speaking of setting up matches too, but I mean, it really looks like they're teasing Triple H versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. I mean, they had that stare down in the ring. I could see maybe like, I don't know that. I mean, maybe they won't turn Jason Jordan heel. Maybe they'll keep him. I really don't know, to be honest with you. I was thinking the ideal thing would be to turn him heel at this point and then have like a mini feud with Kurt Angle. That's definitely not WrestleMania caliber. I don't think they should try to build that up. I swear, if they try to build that up at like for the WrestleMania 34 and stuff, if they try to run into that show with Jason Jordan Kurt Angle feud, that would be such a wasting Kurt Angle right there. I mean, I hope we're getting Triple H versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. It looks like that's what they could be leading to. It's been rumored for a while that would happen. So maybe we get like Kurt Angle versus Jason Jordan if at Royal Rumble if Jordan turns heel. But I don't know why. I'm starting to have second thoughts about Jordan turning heel. Maybe it won't happen. But that segment though, like the segment before, until Triple H came out, it was just a mess. I mean, it was. Oh my god, I wanted to just turn it off. There were a bunch of tag team matches and stuff on the show tonight. The Shield took on the Miz and the Miz Taraj. Okay match. And then Finn Balor, Samoa Joe took on Gallows and Anderson. Same thing. Okay match. Balor and Joe pick up the win. Yeah, it's like, that's why I thought it was like kind of a average show tonight. Not really below average, I would say, not average, because there was just a lot of just like it's like they couldn't come up with stuff tonight to like build up the pay per view to get you excited for the pay per view. It's just like they were lacking that like final final show, the go home show feel. It didn't have that tonight. It really felt like just another episode of Raw. It did not feel like this was the last episode of Monday Night Raw before one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, Survivor Series, this Sunday. So, I mean, that I felt like it was missing that factor big time. I mean, the main event, a bunch of tag team matches. I mean, there was a real feel when, Triple H showed up and stuff. I like Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. That was great. That whole segment was amazing. Paul Heyman's the best. I swear, he's just the best. He's the best. He comes out, he starts selling the WWE Network. And then some couple proposes to each other in the crowd, and then Heyman ruins that for them. And then Brock Lesnar cuts kayfabe after the match, starts shaking kids' hands at ringside. I mean, I don't know. That was out of nowhere. And they left it on camera too, so I don't know. Was Lesnar the face all of a sudden now? But I don't know. That was okay. I thought Paul Heyman. I love Paul Heyman. He's the greatest promo. When it comes to promos, he's the best at it. I mean, he could sell anything. I mean, yeah, he was selling the network. Of course, anybody would sell the network, but he could sell you on the network. You know what I mean? Like, he could convince anyone to probably buy the network. He's just the greatest. So that part of the show I liked. I like that. I liked Triple H showing up. Jason Jordan. We already talked about Jason Jordan versus Bray Wyatt. That was that. Miz TV with Sheamus and Cesaro. I didn't catch a whole lot of this stuff toward the beginning of the show that I was kind of off and on with, but I honestly really didn't catch much of that. I just saw a little bit of it happening. I don't know if anything went down after that, to be honest with you. I assume nothing huge went down or whatever, but obviously Sheamus and Cesaro taking on the Usos at the pay-per-view Sunday. That could be a good match. I much rather would have saw the Shield taking on the Usos. I think that would have been a much better match. So, I mean, but this could still be good. I don't know. And the Shield, as for the Shield, speaking of the Shield, they opened up the show. They are taking on the New Day. It's confirmed now. It was most likely it was going to happen. I mean, they didn't announce it, but we kind of knew based on recent events that happened last week on both Raw and SmackDown and stuff that match would be in the making. So it's been confirmed now. The Shield will take on the New Day at the pay-per-view. So I'm looking forward to that. That could be a good match. I don't really know. It's just a lot of I feel like that's the case with Survivor Series. It's just a lot of that could be a good match, and just it might not be though. There's not really that many of them things on Survivor Series card that just has you going that will be good. I mean, AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. I mean, I'm not even gonna sit here and say that will be good. There's certain matches like AJ Styles versus Finn Balor from TLC. I knew that would be good. There was no debate going into that it wouldn't be good or it would be a letdown. It was going to be good. There's nothing really on this card that's a clear this will be a great match. You know what I mean? There's many things that we could hope are good. Just as much as this card could turn out to be an amazing amazing card and an amazing pay-per-view, it could at the same time turn out to be a just complete garbage show and wasted pay-per-view and just a forgetful night almost. So, I mean, hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully it's the other way around, and it's, a good night, and, there's good matches, and I don't know. I mean, last year it was okay, I thought. The tag matches, the Raw vs. SmackDown tag match was amazing. I know I bring this up a lot on here and stuff when I do Raw reviews and stuff, but I love that match last year. I love going back and watching that. It was an hour long, too, but that was great. And then, obviously, that was followed by the Goldberg-Lesnar thing, which was a minute long, but I didn't even care about that, to be honest with you, because I was just so, focused on, the match before that. And everything around it. I felt like there was much more hype going into Survivor Series last year than there is this year. I mean, then again, we still have SmackDown tomorrow night, so SmackDown can kind of be that, really. I mean, SmackDown's really the go-home show since it is a multi-brand pay-per-view and it's basically SmackDown versus Raw. So I mean, the fact that nothing happened tonight maybe isn't that bad. We could really really get that kind of cliffhanger that really gets you to want to watch Survivor Series tomorrow night on SmackDown, which I actually think we are gonna get, to believe it or not. I saw some report on Twitter a little bit before Raw saying that multiple stars are expected to show up tomorrow on SmackDown. We did see in a segment backstage. Alexa Bliss said she'd probably show up on the show tomorrow. So, I mean, obviously SmackDown did the invasion angle a few weeks back. We've been waiting for weeks to see when Raw would counter back and do an invasion angle themselves of doing on SmackDown. But they've waited till now to do it, which I don't know. I mean, I think they should have did it way before, maybe last week or even the week before that. I don't know if I like the idea of waiting almost like 3 weeks to do it or whatever it's been. But I do definitely expect to see some Raw stars show up tomorrow night. And hopefully we get a cool ending. I want to see like an ending that gets me pumped for Survivor Series. Like if they just end the show like they did tonight on Raw, like it just felt like Raw tonight. There was no ending. It was not even an ending to Raw tonight. Like, you cannot call that an ending to a show. Normally you know when the show's over. I didn't even know. Like they legit went off and then it just hit me. I was like, wow, the show's over. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't feel like an ending tonight. Like that, you know, it doesn't even happen that much too. So SmackDown needs to be good tomorrow. It needs to be good because Survivor Series right now is, I don't know. I mean, they keep making all these changes. They keep making all these match changes and titles are changing hands left and right just to alter the entire card. I mean, remember what the card was about a month ago when they announced all those matches? Look how much it's changed. It has changed like majorly. Like it's completely different. The entire complexion of the card is different now. I mean, it was originally supposed to be the Usos taking on the Shield. Now it's the Usos taking on Sheamus and Cesaro. The Shield are taking on the New Day now. Triple H is back, and he's in the match. What else? I mean, there's just so much stuff happening. Jinder Mahal lost the WWE title. How could I forget about that one? Now we're getting Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. So, I mean, there is stuff changing left and right regarding Survivor Series. And there's still potential for that to even change more tomorrow on SmackDown. We have Charlotte and Natalya going for the SmackDown Women's title. So if Charlotte wins, all of a sudden now it becomes Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte. And I honestly think Charlotte is going to win the title tomorrow night. A couple reasons why, because I just feels like that's the ideal thing they want. But mainly because, I mean, they are in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's Charlotte's hometown. So keep that in mind too. So I really think it's very possible Charlotte wins the title tomorrow. Sin Cara is also taking on Baron Corbin for the U.S. title. I doubt Sin Cara will win the U.S. title, to be honest with you. There's been nothing like, you know, I think some people some people would even be shocked to even see Sin Cara. They'd be like, Sin Cara's still with the company. He's the champion or whatever if he won the title. So I think they'll continue to roll with Baron Corbin versus The Miz, which, I'm not really interested in that, to be honest. They really haven't done anything to get me interested in it, so everything else, though, is kind of like got somewhat of an interest, but it could be bad. Like I said before, it could be bad, could be good. We'll have to wait and see. I forgot a few things. Bayley's the final member of the Raw team. She won the triple threat match. Everybody's expecting Paige to show up tonight. She was backstage at the show. She was indeed backstage at the show tonight, but she did not show up. I didn't actually really get to talk about this much. I should have made a news video on it earlier this week because that was like the big news over the past week in WWE, like Paige returning and everything. So, yeah, apparently, I mean, originally she was supposed to go to SmackDown, and now all of a sudden WWE's kind of like changed their plans, and now they want her on Raw, which makes no sense in my view. I mean, SmackDown has like 6 women, and they like just that's it. Raw's got like would have like 12 or something. I mean, they could barely get them all on the card, so I think that would kind of be a dumb decision. But there's nothing confirmed yet. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but she didn't show up tonight. I mean, I honestly didn't think. Everybody thought she was going to show up, and I was kind of like, I really don't see her showing up, even though she's backstage. I mean, she's probably just backstage, whatever, just to be there, you know what I mean? Like, just, getting back into the groove or whatever of being back with the company or whatever. I really didn't see her showing up tonight. So, I mean, even when I saw pictures of her arriving at the arena, I was still sticking to what I said before. I really didn't see it happening, and I happened to be right, so. She'll probably show up after Survivor Series, I'd assume. I mean, hopefully WWE changes their mind and she shows up on SmackDown because there is no need for her on the Raw roster right now. I mean, Raw's got so many people. Unless they plan on moving someone like the Raw women over to SmackDown or something because, I mean, I can't even name all the Raw women right now. There's Bayley, Dana Brooke, Mickie James, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Asuka, Alicia Fox. I mean, I probably forgot a few. I mean, that's like, what, 8, 7 right there? I mean, and you add Paige to it. I mean, and SmackDown's only got like 6. It's been like the same 6 on SmackDown, too. I feel like the storylines are kind of getting old. They need to add someone new over on SmackDown to kind of mix things up a bit. So it just it wouldn't make much sense for it to be on Raw. I mean, I don't know why they would do that, but I guess they're giving up fully on SmackDown at this point. But I think I've covered everything in regards to Monday Night Raw. Like I said, if this were just an episode of Raw, it'd be fine with me. I would be like, all right, whatever. This is just, your typical average episode of Monday Night Raw. But this is the go-home show for the Survivor Series pay-per-view, the fourth biggest pay-per-view of the year for WWE, and the flagship show, the so-called flagship show, kind of was a letdown tonight. So SmackDown's got to counter tomorrow night. SmackDown needs to be good, because if SmackDown's not good, I'm not going to be excited for Survivor Series, which is not. I don't want that to be the case. I want to be excited for Survivor Series. I want to get that feel of excitement, hype, just going into the show, wanting to watch it, not just like, hey, Survivor Series is on tonight. Whatever, it'll probably be awful. On a good note, we do have NXT Takeover War Games on Saturday night, so that should be good. I am definitely looking forward to that. I'll do a review on that Saturday night after that show. I remember the last NXT TakeOver was amazing. Probably one of the best wrestling shows I've ever seen, the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn show back in the summer. That show, I can't. I love going back and watching that show. I've watched that like 5 times now, in its entirety. That show was amazing, but not gonna get into that right now. So that's it for Raw, though. Let me know what you guys thought of the show down in the comment section below. Go follow me all over Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Links in the description as always. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow after SmackDown Live right here on the Glorious Podcast with my SmackDown review.